हेलो एवरीवन, मैं दृष्टि गोयल आप सभी का एसएसबी क्रैक टॉक्स पर स्वागत करती हूँ। So today I am feeling really happy and proud to conduct this interview of our very own candidate who has been the part of our SSB online course and has recently got recommended and will be joining Indian Naval Academy Azimela very soon. So let us welcome Mr. Leroy, who have got recommended in his second attempt for NDA 149 course and listen to his experiences of SSB. Hi Leroy, how are you?
Good evening, ma'am. I'm good. How are you, ma'am?
I'm also very good. Yeah, many congratulations on getting recommended in your second attempt. How are you feeling now?
Thank you so much, ma'am. And I'm feeling very, very happy. Excited to join the academy.
Okay. आपका फर्स्ट रिएक्शन कैसा था जब आपको सुना कि ओके योर चेस्ट नंबर हैज बीन कॉल्ड आउट ऑन द कॉन्फ्रेंस डे एंड फाइनली यू हैव गॉट रिकमेंडेड? सो हाउ वाज द रिएक्शन? कैसा घर वालों का कैसा रिएक्शन था? दोस्तों ने कैसे रिएक्ट किया?
Ma'am, it was very overwhelming. At that time, मैं थोड़ा बुखार भी था मुझे. So that time it did not set in. But as soon as I called my parents, तब तो it was completely emotional in a very good way because we were all very happy. And that happiness I could sense from my parents as well. And मेरे friends तो they were very very happy and they were confident that इस बार हो जाएगा मेरा. So they were very excited to hear the news.
ओके, सो जैसा आपने बोला कि दोस्त भी कॉन्फिडेंट थे कि हो जाएगा एंड इट वाज योर सेकंड अटेम्प्ट, है ना? तो क्या
Yes, ma'am.
लगता है कि फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट और सेकंड अटेम्प्ट में क्या डिफरेंस था कि इस टाइम आप इतना कॉन्फिडेंट भी थे पहले से भी कि यार ये अब की बार चांसेस ज्यादा हैं, तो व्हाट स्ट्रैटेजी डिफरेंस यू मेड इन दिस अटेम्प्ट?
Ma'am, firstly it was because I was midway through my 12th standard that time. So मेरा preparation was not that good. And confidence was anyways low because last 2 years we've all been in our houses only, so there's not much group activities and interactions that happen with normal people in normal times. So that was definitely something that made a difference. I was not able to be as confident I was this time. Is bar I changed my strategies, especially for building up my confidence because it was there, but I was not able to show it that time because of nervousness. But this time I was very confident. I was able to speak whatever I wanted to very clearly, and people were listening. So that was the biggest difference in both
ओके,
the attempts.
स्ट्रैटेजी में पर्टिकुलरली आपने क्या चेंज किया? मतलब ऐसा है कि कॉन्फिडेंस तो आपके अंदर था ही, बट उसे प्रेजेंटेशन जो थी वो मैंने भी देखा कि देयर यू आर लैकिंग समवेयर, तो उसको पर्टिकुलरली आपने कैसे इंप्रूव किया?
Ma'am, first of all, I discussed with my father the current affairs that were going on. I used to note them down. And one more thing that had happened was during our classes only, you were told that मैं headlines पे ज़्यादा focus करता था instead of the main body. So
राइट,
this time I started to write more information related to 2 or 3 only headlines, and I used to write more about it, and I used to remember more about it. And after that, I used to discuss with my father and practice those lecturettes in front of the mirror most of the time.
ओके, एज यू हैव जस्ट सेड यू वर देयर इन आवर लाइव क्लास एज वेल, है ना? आपने पूरा बैच आई गेस अटेंड किया था जाने से पहले, तो
Yes,
हाउ वाज इट हेल्पफुल इन योर एसएसबी?
ma'am. Mostly it was I got that participation in the group because when we practice at home without any help and support, that time we don't get the feel of a group discussion. Because once we go there, we feel overwhelmed because itne sare log hain, so many ideas are there. You're not able to present your own. But over here, I was able to practice that, and I was able to uh, show my ideas as well as learn when to actually put in my lines. Otherwise, I was always at a back, as in I was on my back foot most of the time. I was not able to respond properly. But this time I was able to do that very easily. And of course, current affairs also increase hua because I got a lot of input from other people in the batch as well. There were many people who used to come up with different current affairs. So that stayed at the back of my mind, and I was able to present them in the group discussions. So it went well.
Right. Okay. As you said, you wanted to join Navy particularly, है ना? And you are going to join Indian Naval Academy very soon. So
Yes.
why you wanted to join Navy particularly? What was the reason?
Ma'am, honestly, the main goal was to join the Academy and join the defense forces. But since my father is also in the defense background, he's a naval officer. So I was inspired by his work and I wanted to join the same force as he did.
ओके ग्रेट यार ओके नाउ यू हैव क्लियर्ड एनडीए ट्वाइस है ना आपने 12th में ही एनडीए क्लियर कर लिया था इवन बिफोर गिविंग योर बोर्ड्स है
Yes,
ना
ma'am.
तो कैन यू टेल मी द स्ट्रैटेजी और स्ट्रैटेजी टू द स्टूडेंट्स हु आर गोइंग टू अपीयर फॉर देयर फर्स्ट एनडीए कि उन्हें कैसे फोकस करना चाहिए या फिर किस सेक्शन पे वो ज्यादा अच्छे से फोकस करके दे कैन प्रिपेयर फॉर द रिटन्स
Ma'am, most of the time I have seen that my friends who had also written with me, उनका maths का cutoff ही clear नहीं होता था. And even in my case, in my first attempt, I barely was able to clear the maths cutoff. So the main focus should be on maths because GAT, that can be done on a regular basis to improve it. But maths, you have to have basics strong and you should know time management well. So for that, I mostly did PYQ as in previous year questions, and I also focused on my weak areas. There are few topics which come on a repeated basis in maths. So those I practiced and I was able to perform well. And
ओके
GAT, of course, I read more of the polity, history, and geography and all. So I was able to perform well.
Okay. Have you also appeared for the mock test? And do you think mock test played a very vital role in your preparation?
Yes, ma'am, because mock test actually give you the same kind of pressure that you will face in the actual exam. So 2.5 hours is not at all sufficient for 120 questions. But with practice, you'll be able to attempt a lot of the questions and your accuracy will be enough to get you above the cutoff limit.
Okay. So now I'll talk about your SSB, है ना? So SSB में you know that OIR the very first task which is done on the very first day. So how did you prepare for OIR? How many questions were you able to attempt? And आपको क्या लगता है कि कौन से टॉपिक्स पे पर्टिकुलरली ज्यादा फोकस करना चाहिए जब हम OIR की तैयारी कर रहे हैं?
Ma'am, I had a book that was given to me by my seniors. So that was also from SSB Crack only. So I had practiced from that and I practiced how much ever I could. Every day I used to solve for about 30 minutes or so. And most in this attempt, I was able to solve all of them. Last attempt, I solved all of them, but mark karte waqt I made mistakes. So that is also something that should be taken care of. So this time it went well. Every answer I was able to mark properly as well as answer. And mostly verbal is slightly easier, I feel. Non-verbal is slightly trickier. So in that, if people practice more, that should be very easy to solve them.
Okay. So आपको OMR sheet दी गई थी क्या?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So as you know that not in every board OMR has been introduced till now. है ना?
Okay.
So yeah. So अगर काफी लोग आप लोग जा रहे हो तो I would also like to tell you कि practice कर लो यार OIR भरने के लिए है ना? फिर पता चलता है कि ऐसे गलत मार्क हो जाएगा तो it is a very big risk. Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Also there is a doubt है ना ऐसे बोलते हैं कि OIR में there is no negative mark. Right. And
Yes,
then
ma'am.
also people tends to leave some of the questions. So what is your approach? Do you attempt all the questions even when you are not able to solve? या फिर आपको लगता है कि छोड़ देना चाहिए कोई बड़ी बात नहीं?
Ma'am, mostly I attempt all the questions because uh, I have a good risk to win ratio. So most of the time it goes right. So only few of the questions I was not able to answer. So I didn't leave them. I gave it a try and went for the most suitable answer that I could find.
So it's better to attempt than to leave it, right?
Yes, ma'am, as per me.
Yeah, very good. Okay, now I'll talk about your PPDT, है ना? PPDT की हमने फर्स्ट डे से तैयारी भी की थी, बट हमें
Yes,
पता
ma'am.
है यार PPDT की तैयारी कर लेते फिर भी we were not able to participate in the GD part particularly. या फिर किधर किधर को नरेशन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट बट प्रैक्टिस होने के बाद भी फंबल होने के चांसेस हैं. तो आपने PPDT को कैसे टारगेट किया एंड हाउ वाज योर PPDT इन योर दिस अटेम्प्ट?
Ma'am, in the evening sessions that we had in SSB Crack only, we got to listen to a lot of stories, as in the whole PPDT used to be redone in every evening session. So there were many, same picture was shown to everyone and many different approaches were taken. So I was able to be more imaginative. I was able to incorporate some of their ideas also. And the group discussion definitely helped because फिश मार्केट सिनारियो जैसे बोलते हैं वो हमेशा होता है. So you have to be very careful when to choose the right time to speak. So that I was able to find this time, and the practice was mostly only in evening sessions and the live class that was there. So
या
that's it.
सो बेसिकली ये है कि आप अवेयर थे कि कोई भी सिचुएशन आएगी तो उसमें कैसे आपको एंटर करना है जीडी के अंदर, राइट?
Yes, ma'am.
या सो यही मेन पर्पस है यार इवनिंग सेशन का. सो एक्चुअली अभी काफी लोगों का इम्प्रूवमेंट हो गई है पीपीडीटी का. ओके, सो नाउ आई टॉक अबाउट योर स्टेज 2, है ना? आपको पता है
Yes.
फर्स्ट डे पे ही आपका स्क्रीनिंग होने के बाद आपसे पीआई की फॉर्म भी फिल कराया होगा. तो पीआई की फॉर्म के लिए आप कुछ गाइडलाइंस देना चाहोगे अपने कैंडिडेट्स को, जो अपकमिंग कैंडिडेट्स हैं, कि व्हाट दे शुड कीप इन माइंड व्हाइल फिलिंग अप देयर पीआई की फॉर्म्स?
Ma'am, like I used to have that problem that I used to feel that I'm boasting sometimes. As in, मैं sports में काफी अच्छा हूँ. But at the same time, मैं extracurricular activities में ठीक ठाक हूँ. So when I used to write a lot of those things, I used to feel, am I being too boastful? But at the same time, the interviewer should know what all you've done. So it's not, you don't need to be suppressing your achievements. You can show them. Uh, and that should be enough, because most of the time the interviewer does not even take too much attention on that. So that is one thing. You should freely write with truth completely. So, yes.
राइट. सो ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए कि हम कभी कभी ऐसे सोचते हैं कि इससे क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया तो हम आंसर नहीं कर पाएंगे, इससे बेटर है कि नहीं लिखते हैं,
Yes,
है
ma'am.
ना? राइट. सो वी शुड एटलीस्ट राइट एवरीथिंग व्हाट एवर वी हैव डन.
Yes, ma'am.
राइट. ओके, तो अभी मैं इंटरव्यू की बात करती हूँ पहले, ठीक है? अभी एनडीए वाले चैम्प्स को वाकई बहुत डाउट रहता है कि यार किस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस हमसे एकेडमिक से पूछ लेंगे, बिकॉज समटाइम्स दे विल आस्क यू योर फेवरेट टॉपिक और मे बी योर फेवरेट सब्जेक्ट, और फिर उस सब्जेक्ट में वो डीप में भी क्वेश्चन पूछ लेते हैं कभी भी कभार. तो आपके साथ ऐसा हुआ था, और अगर हाँ तो किस टाइप के क्वेश्चन पूछे गए?
Ma'am, in this interview, it was not done.
हम्म.
He did not go deep into any of the academics. So इस बार थोड़ा easy था. But other times I've seen in this attempt also, many people in my batch only were asked a lot about physics questions when they said that physics was their favorite subject.
हम्म.
So it is mostly related to, if we are joining for Navy, they'll ask you more about naval ships and submarines, like what is the principle behind them, their working. So easy question hote hain, but those are the things that we tend to forget in normal academics. So that you should be able to answer in the interview. And if not, you should be able to confidently say that I do not know, and I will get to learning that as soon as I finish the interview.
ओके, यही कॉन्फिडेंस शायद से पहले लैक कर रहे थे आप, है ना, कि
Yes,
नहीं
ma'am.
बोल पा रहे थे कि आई डोंट नो.
Yes, ma'am.
राइट. मुझे याद है मैंने ही लिया था आपका मॉक पीआई, आई गेस. राइट.
Yes.
सो इट रियली वेंट वेल. आपको क्या लगता है कि मॉक पीआई जिस लाइंस पे गया था उसी सेम लाइंस पे आपका इंटरव्यू था, और देयर वर सम मेजर डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन बोथ ऑफ
Ma'am, there were major differences because, of course, you have to train me for any possible outcome.
देम? राइट.
So you were asking me very deeply into defense as well as NCC, which the this time the interviewer didn't go into. But that actually helped me because I realized that I'm lacking in this area. So I used to make notes about the different defense things that are going on, be it current affairs related to defense, as well as ships, submarines, aircrafts, as well as other ranks and all. So that helped me out a lot. And also uh, the strengths and weaknesses of my own and my family's. So that was a major thing that was asked in my interview.
ओके, एंड वही है कि ज्यादातर बच्चे वहीं पे ही लैक करते हैं कि हमें बतानी कैसे है ना,
Yes,
स्ट्रेंथ्स
ma'am.
एंड वीकनेसेस को. तो आपने कैसे प्रिपेयर किया था इस क्वेश्चन के लिए?
Now, actually, I had not completely prepared it. So I had written about two for each thing. So strengths and weaknesses as well. But when I went there, sir asked me for three weaknesses and strengths. Uh, Strengths I was easily able to say because, of course, they are good people, so there was no issue in that. But
हम्म.
weaknesses, I was not able to tell all three. So for that, my answer was that, sir, these are the only two weaknesses that I could find in them. Apart from that, I feel they are good enough, and they have not, they do not have any other major weakness. So that was it.
ओके, सो वाज देयर एनी काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चन वेयर यू गॉट स्टक, या फिर आपको लग रहा हो कि यार मैं इसका आंसर तो नहीं कर पा रहा हूँ, सो अगर था तो आपने उसको कैसे हैंडल किया?
Ma'am, this time there was only one question that was that I used to study in FITG, which is a
ओके.
coaching institute for JE. So, but in my JE, my percentile was very low. I got only 87 in the first and 91 in the second. So he was also aware that FITG is for JE. So he asked me that question, that being in FITG, how did I manage to mess up? So I truthfully answered. I was also a little shocked that time to hear the question, but I answered the truth. I said that my preparation was not enough, and at the same time, I should have worked on my basics better. So that was how I tackled the question.
Okay, and did he also grilled you over some topic or नहीं normal गया सब?
No, no, ma'am. It was very short and crisp. It was 40 to 45 minutes only, and he was to the point. He didn't ask too much in detail, mostly.
Okay. Also, जैसे मुझे पता है कि just before going for your SSB, you were also having your JEE mains. And
Yes,
so
ma'am.
how were you able to manage your studies for your JEE as well? Your NDA also you gave, your SSB also you were preparing. So what was your timetable during your time of preparations कि आपने सब कुछ manage किया?
Ma'am, right before my JEE mains, I didn't even know that my SSB was going to be this early, because
Hmm.
normally in NDA you get a few date selections, so you can choose whenever you're free, as in whenever time permits. So I thought I'll choose the last date and I'll be able to prepare for both easily. But in Bhopal there was only one date, and that was 5 days after my JEE mains, so I had to do double the work and do it at the same time. So I started with most in the morning. There were morning classes for SSB, that in the SSB crack only. So that I used to attend, and as soon as that was over, I used to look into NCRT and those sort of things where I can read. And in the evening, I used to go for a mock test, and I used to analyze the paper. And by the time evening classes would start, so I used to skip some of the evening classes because I cannot give full concentration to SSB as well. But for most of the time, I used to spend more on SSB only, because this attempt was very important for me. So yes.
Right. So you were actually able to manage both of them and finally got recommended as well.
Yes,
है ना?
ma'am.
Okay. So tell me previously and this time which board you went to, which board you like more and why?
Ma'am, I went first time to 12 SSB Bangalore, and this time I went to 33 SSB Bhopal. And I liked Bhopal board more because it was a very calm place. Bhopal, Bangalore one is very small comparatively, and secondly, that time COVID was there, so there was lots of restrictions. But in this time, we were slightly more free. We used to go for playing every day, and I also got to spend a lot more time since my medicals was also over there only. So I enjoyed my time over there in Bhopal more than Bangalore.
Okay. So again, what you used to do in your free time? क्योंकि हमें पता है एसएसबी में टेस्टिंग तो मॉर्निंग में हो जाती है, फिर यू आर हैविंग फुल डे फ्री, तो क्या करते थे आप
Yeah.
वहाँ पे उस टाइम पे?
Ma'am, sports starts at 4 and it ends at about 6:37. So we used to mostly just wait for the sports only. So as soon as we would finish our tasks, we used to go for lunch. And after that, we used to be mostly in the dormitories that was given to us. And वहाँ पे हम लोग काफी टाइम पास करते रहते थे. किसी एक one of our batchmates got a ball also, so we used to play cricket inside the dormitory only. And
Inside the dormitory, you are allowed to do
yes,
that?
no, it was a smiley ball, so we were taking all precautions,
Mm-hmm.
and it was safe. After that, we used to go for playing in the evening, and then dinner के बाद थोड़ा सा जितना preparation कर पाते थे उसके बाद हम लोग सो जाते थे.
ओके. सो सबसे अच्छी चीज क्या लगी आपको वहाँ पे, एंड हाउ वाज योर ग्रुप, कैसे आपकी बॉन्डिंग रही, एंड हाउ इट वाज हेल्पफुल इन योर रिकमेंडेशन?
Ma'am, the bonding was very good because we were all conferenced out, so all the repeaters had the same group. So there was a lot more common. So we could share our weaknesses and strengths that we saw in our last time, and they were very understanding that we they all have to participate so that most of us can get through. So they didn't try to sabotage. They were together. We were very united while doing all the tasks, and they were very supportive as well, especially in group discussions and all. They were not cutting people. They were very patient, and the group discussions were very well
So
conducted.
you didn't face this fish market situation in GDs.
Ma'am, they were there, but as soon as
Mhm.
one person would lock on, as in continue speaking, then there was no disturbance. They would let him complete completely.
Okay, great. So now I'll talk about your psych test है ना. अभी psych में TAT, VAT, SRT, SGT इतने सारे टेस्ट है. So how it went this time? How many number of things you were able to attempt in all those tests? और आपने प्रिपरेशन कैसे करी? क्या लगता है कि चारों में से कौन सा सबसे अच्छा गया होगा?
Ma'am, in TAT, I wrote all 12 stories. In VAT, I wrote about 50 to 52, I believe. And in SRT, I wrote 38. SGT was very good. I was able to complete all 5 paragraphs in 15 minutes, and it was enough, as per my preparation that I had done. And for the preparation part for all these things, I was mainly doing time tests, as in there were playlists there. So I used to look at those playlists and I used to start writing based on the time only. And I used to analyze them, whether it was good, whether it was not enough. And I used to improve on it every time that I took the test again. So this time my TAT went very well because the stories were coming very freely, and last time it was slightly forceful and I felt like I had to make some good story, so that nervousness was there. But this time it was very free. I was able to write real life stories as well, so it went well.
Okay, can you
Rest,
remember some kind of pictures कि कैसे टाइप के pictures और किस टाइप की stories आपने बनाई? If you can quote some of the examples if possible.
ma'am, one of them was an old lady holding a polythene bag, and a man was standing in front of her. So in this, I remembered a real life incident wherein my father used to go to buy groceries. So I also used to go every time. So that time, there was an old woman, very old, but still she used to come regularly every Sunday, and she used to sit there with lemons. So my dad used to take about 20 or 30 rupees worth of lemons, and he used to give 500 so that she can have her daily needs and slightly more as well. So this I wrote because she had got sick for a period of time. So dad used to ask about her, give her money through other vendors that were there. So she always used to bless us as well. So that was one incident that I was able to recall while looking at that picture. Apart from that, there were many pictures. One was wherein a boy was carrying another boy on his shoulder. So in that, I took a example of heat wave and uh, strokes that were happening. So naturally, there is lots of heat this time of the year, as in the summer. So I took that as an example, and I showed how a person can help when someone is facing such incident. And apart from that, there were many other things, such as one tree was there, and many children were there around it, and a few of the uh, mangoes and all were fallen. So I took it as a example of a picnic. So I organized a picnic, and those sort of stories I made most of them.
So basically, you were able to relate your personal experiences as well as the current affairs you are reading.
Yes, ma'am.
है ना? तो काफी अच्छा ही गया मतलब आपका टैट तो very good यार.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything you want to suggest for writing your SDT to the candidates?
SDT also again, ma'am. I used to feel again that I was being boastful. So I used to try to reduce my achievements or the goodness of my parents because they genuinely supported me. So we cannot write less. We should write exactly how they perceive us to be. You should ask their opinion, parents, teachers, friends, whoever is close to you. You should ask them about what you are, what are your strengths, what are your weakness, what you can improve upon. And of course, you should have a plan for your future to write for the last question that is there. And that is all that should matter. Yes.
Okay. So it went very good, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'll talk about your GT series, okay? Your ground task. तो आपको पता है अभी जैसे जीडी और लेक्चरेट उसके लिए बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है करंट अफेयर्स, वो आपने प्रैक्टिस कर लेते, बट आपने प्रेजेंटेशन पार्ट को कैसे इंप्रूव किया वहां पे?
Ma'am, firstly, of course, the evening sessions helped me for the group discussion, for my speaking skills in the group discussion. And for lecturate as well as group discussion, you have to have a strong knowledge base, which cannot come in 2 or 3 days or last few days. So you have to start from the very beginning. That I was not able to do last time. So this time I started a little earlier and I started to write down about the major issues and current affairs as well. That is helpful because even if you forget some of it, you have it written down. So last moment you can prepare and you already have written it. So it will help you a lot. And for lecturate, it is good to practice in front of a mirror, in front of people, in front of your friends also, because when people look into your eyes, sometimes there is that nervousness that most people feel. So if you can actually get over that fear, that will help you a lot. So that is the only thing that I had done.
ओके, मींस द की इज टू प्रैक्टिस इन फ्रंट ऑफ पीपल, है ना?
Yes,
अकेले प्रैक्टिस करके आपको समझ आएगा कि आप बोल पा रहे हो, बट वो जो प्रेशर है दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट टू एक्चुअली एनालाइज योर रियल परफॉर्मेंस।
yes,
राइट, ओके। नाउ आई टॉक अबाउट जीपी, है ना? जैसा आपने मुझे पहले भी बताया था कि मैम जीपी डिडंट वेंट वेल इन योर फर्स्ट एसएसबी, है ना? दैट वाज
yes.
लाइक ये क्या टास्क है, अभी कैसे करना विदाउट नोइंग अबाउट इट। सो हाउ वाज इट दिस टाइम एंड व्हाट डू यू थिंक वाज द राइट स्ट्रैटेजी टू प्रिपेयर फॉर जीपीई?
Ma'am, firstly, I had practiced mostly by looking at those pictures, analyzing those distances, because those are very important things that a group tasking officer will look at. Because if you are not able to do basic calculations such as distance, time, and those things, because you can see the distance scale that is given there.
या
So those things are important. Apart from that, you have to have a bold voice so that you cut through the fish market scenario and show in your points. You need not be very aggressive, but you have to be non-passive so that you can actually help in the scenario. Apart from that, there are few very important things that priority. So you have to give the priority very well, because you should understand that life is very important, life of other people. So you have to look for that. And major catastrophe is another important thing. But small things need not require a lot of attention, such as people's axe getting lost in my incident. So that can be sorted out in many different ways. You can give small compensations, or you can just try to find it with them. That won't require a lot. So these are the few things that you can keep in mind, and practice is required, of course. With a group of people will be very helpful, and that's all I did, ma'am, for my
राइट,
GP.
इफ यू कैन रिमेम्बर कैन यू टेल मी चारों में से कौन से टास्क थे और आपने कैसे प्रायोरिटाइज किया था उनको?
Ma'am, one was an injured person, always that is there, and the
हम्म,
other was water tank poisoning. The third was railroad was about to be blocked, so that was also important. And the last one was an old lady had lost her axe inside a well. So I went about by giving first aid to the injured man first, then informing the police both about the railway track as well as the water plant and the poisoning of the water plant. So that was the sequence which I went in. And the last old lady one, I gave compensation to her because we had about 10 people. So each giving 50 to 100 rupees would give her a new axe and she could continue her livelihood. So this was the
ओके।
sequence I went.
बेसिकली नेग्लेक्ट नहीं करना है, बट बहुत ज्यादा टाइम भी नहीं वेस्ट करना है स्मॉल स्मॉल
Correct, ma'am.
थिंग्स पे, राइट?
Yes, ma'am.
वेरी गुड। ओके, सो नाउ आई टॉक अबाउट योर ग्राउंड टास्क, है ना? जो आपके आउटडोर टास्क थे, सो उनके लिए आपने बहुत ज्यादा प्रिपरेशन भी नहीं की थी बिकॉज यू आर बिजी विद योर रिटर्न्स एज वेल। तो आपको क्या लगता है कि ओनली बाय गिविंग अटेंशन टू योर फिजिकल फिटनेस इज इट इनफ फॉर योर आउटडोर टास्क, या फिर आपको कुछ अलग से करना चाहिए?
Ma'am, for individual obstacle, probably physical fitness is required, but apart from that, nothing is required. As in, physical fitness is not at all required. Mostly, it has to be general knowledge and general physics, applied physics, actually. So ground task mostly has to be done over there. So I used to watch videos online. So there are many people who have those ground tasks already there. So you can just watch that and learn what can be done in those scenarios. I got some easy ones and some were difficult as well. So rope tying is also something that could be a important skill that will be used in the SSB. So that also I had practiced to some extent before going.
ओके ग्रेट सो नाउ आई टॉक अबाउट योर कॉन्फ्रेंस है ना अभी कॉन्फ्रेंस से पहले तो सबको ही लगता है कि पूरा प्रिपरेशन तो हो गया पूरा परफॉर्मेंस हो गया है अभी कैसा रिजल्ट रहने वाला है तो वो कैसा टाइम था जब एक दिन पहले आप लोग वेट करे कि ओके नेक्स्ट डे इज द कॉन्फ्रेंस है ना एंड हाउ वाज योर कॉन्फ्रेंस
Ma'am, this time around I was not my father had actually told me that you have already have backups, you have done well in some of the exams and you have already got admission, so don't take any stress, be as stress free as possible so that it does not hinder your performance in SSB. So I took that very seriously and I did not take too much stress at all. Of course, conference is a very stressful time for everyone, so I was nervous, but I didn't let it hamper my confidence. So with the same confidence I went in, and this time there were only two questions asked, which was firstly, how was my stay? So to that I answered that it was good, and even the activities, as in the tasks, were done well. So he asked which task was done well, and I said group tasks were the place where I did well. And he asked in that also which one. So I said group discussion was the one which I felt was nice. And after that, sir asked me about the suggestions what I had about Bhopal board. So I had most of the things were very good, but one thing that I did not, I had a suggestion was that ironing box that is there. So that was missing. So they didn't have the facility over there. So Dhobi used to come, and he used to come on alternate days. So that was the suggestion that I gave, that if he could come on he could come every day, or if we had an iron box in every floor or every dormitory, that would help a lot. So the suggestion was taken, and he said that they were working on it, and that was it.
ओके तो अच्छा ही था आपने सजेशन भी दे दिया कॉन्फिडेंटली वरना
Yes,
फिर
ma'am.
काफी पीपल लाइक दे थिंक अगर बोलेंगे कुछ तो फिर वो रॉन्ग डायरेक्शन में जाएगा उसका
True,
कुछ
ma'am.
फायदा नहीं है ना दैट इज ऑल्सो शोइंग योर कॉन्फिडेंस एट दैट टाइम कि यू आर एबल टू बोल्डली टेल अबाउट दी सजेशंस
Yes.
राइट ओके अभी ना एक डाउट है मुझे जनरली क्या होता है ना कैंडिडेट्स आर लाइक कि एक टेस्ट अच्छा नहीं गया मान लो फर्स्ट डे पे उनका साइक हो गया लाइक सेकंड डे पे सो इफ देयर साइक डिडंट वेंट वेल तो नेक्स्ट डे भी उसी की टेंशन है यार कि साइक में स्टोरीज नहीं लिख पाए या फिर हम वैट नहीं कर पाए उसकी वजह से इंटरव्यू में फिर गड़बड़ गड़बड़ हो जाती है इंटरव्यू होने के बाद फिर इंटरव्यू की टेंशन है कि यार इंटरव्यू अच्छा नहीं किया सो व्हाट डू यू थिंक ऐसा होता है जनरली और आपने इसको कैसे कॉप अप किया
Ma'am, last time that was also a huge part in my, as in me not getting recommended, because I remember that I was expecting my interview to be on the third or fourth day. So मैंने expect ही नहीं किया था कि second day पे हो जाएगा. But as soon as my psych tests were over, which did not go well that day, all of a sudden एक और shock मिल गया कि interview भी होने वाला है आज ही. So that actually put me back thoda sa, and I was nervous. So that did impact actually. And in my interview, I showed that sort of nervousness, and I was not able to boldly say even the things that I knew. So this is a problem, but you should go with the mindset that if you messed up something, it's fine. Look at the next task so that you don't mess that up, because even if you do one task bad, you have many tasks that you can cope up with and you can cancel out. So that is very important to keep in mind.
ओके सो बेसिकली जो प्रीवियस टास्क है उसको वहीं छोड़ के और जो आने
Yes,
वाला
ma'am.
टास्क है उस पर फोकस करा जाए राइट
Yes, ma'am.
ओके वेरी गुड नाउ आई आस्क अबाउट योर हॉबीज है ना आपकी कौन सी पोटेंशियल हॉबीज रही हैं जो आपने वहां पे मेंशन भी करी आपके इंटरव्यू में एंड डू व्हाट डू यू थिंक कि हॉबीज का कितना इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है इन योर एसएसबी
Ma'am, hobbies are actually very important because those things become habits after a while. So जैसे reading is a very good hobby. Unfortunately मेरा after I joined Fiji, that all stopped for a while because वो time consuming है, and I tend to spend a lot of time in books if I start. So I stayed away from it for the 2 years. Uh, my hobbies were cycling and going to gym, as well as listening to music. So these three things I had written in my PIQ, as well as he asked me. So that time also I told him. And just going to gym or going for cycling, those are few things that you make as habits. So for gym, I used to wake up early. Waking up early is also something that is considered to be good, because
Right.
you're following timetables. That is punctuality is shown. So these are good things to do. Keeping hobbies, and keeping good hobbies is also important. Reading current affairs, news, and newspapers in the morning. So these things can actually help in impacting your SSB.
Okay, so any probing question was also asked regarding your hobby, or it was like कि normally बस hobby पूछा और खत्म?
Normally only, ma'am. It was nothing in deep.
Okay. So as I remember when you were there in the batch, you used to be very harsh while giving the feedbacks. So what do you
Yes,
think?
ma'am.
How was it helpful? And was there any kind of improvement which you was able to make after listening to the feedbacks?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. My most of my feedbacks was that even though I know some of the information, I was not able to convey it properly,
Right.
especially in my lecturate, the one which we had in our live class. I was not able to get a good sequence and project it properly. So in this attempt, I was able to practice it uh, early only, and I was able to perform well. My group mates were very happy with my lecture, so that was one thing that I did well. Apart from that, current affairs was lacking. That was also one of the feedback that I got, and the good feedbacks were also important because that was something that I kept uh, with me, as in that I'm very cheerful and smiling, and also I have a good speaking, as in communication skill. So those things I kept in my mind, and I kept doing well in those things.
ओके, तो अभी आपने चीयरफुल का टॉपिक लेके आए हो, तो आपको क्या लगता है यार, बीइंग चीयरफुल, हाउ इज इट इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर योर एसएसबी?
Ma'am, it shows that a person is a positive person. You shouldn't be smiling all the time just to show that you're cheerful. You should be your own personality. If you're not that cheerful by your facial expression, it's fine. There's no issue. But if you are, then you should continue to be like that, because it's not a serious. It is serious, but you should not be that serious in those tasks, because that will also lead to messing up. So you should be as calm and comfortable in your own personality.
एंड बेसिकली अगर आप ज्यादा चीयरफुल नहीं हो तो इट रिफ्रेन्स पीपल फ्रॉम कमिंग टू यू, है ना? अभी
True, ma'am.
लगता है कि यार बात करेंगे तो फिर वही सेम बातें रिपीट होंगी, तो इट्स बेटर टू रिफ्रेन देम, है ना?
Yes,
तो
ma'am.
वो भी एक बहुत पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट आपका आएगा अगर आप चीयरफुल हो, एंड एज वी कैन सी हियर आल्सो, तो दैट वाज अगेन एडेड एडवांटेज फॉर यू देयर,
Yes, ma'am.
right? Okay, so now I want to ask overall tips and tricks or the suggestions which you want to give to the aspirants who are going to appear for the upcoming SSB attempts, and especially if you want to highlight the NDA aspirants.
Ma'am, for NDA, of course, most of the people are starting at a lower age. So we don't have, um, most of them are science students. So we don't
Right.
have the liberty to have science, as in history, political science, geography, and all. So those should be, you need to learn, giving them additional time, because you won't be able to perform at the last moment. So for NDA exam, you need to start early, and you should be good in these three subjects, as well as your general knowledge, which can be improved by current affairs through newspaper, as well as reading through articles online as well. And coming to SSB, you need to work on your personality, because you can't change it, but you can try to incorporate some good things in it. So you can start by listing out your positives and negatives, and working on your negatives, and keeping up those positive attributes that you have. So that is the main thing. Apart from that, of course, you need to go through the procedure well, so that you don't have a shock once you reach over there.
राइट, कि ऐसा कोई भी टास्क नहीं हो जो आपको पता ही नहीं है कि ऐसा कुछ होने भी वाला है एसएसबी में,
Yes,
राइट?
ma'am.
हाँ. Okay, so now I'll be asking you the last question for this session. कि how was SSB Crack able to help you in your journey of being recommended? And if you have any suggestions for us, then also we are very much happy to know.
Ma'am, the SSB crack has been very helpful because I was struggling with the current affairs part, the confidence part, with the participation part, and those things you cannot get normally staying at home or practicing yourself. So being part of this actually helped me practice those things. My confidence had increased, my participation ability had increased, and my current affairs had increased, not just by the method that you suggested, but also by listening to the inputs of other people.
All right.
Uh, Suggestions, ma'am. Of course, I did not find anything uh, wrong with this. This was very nice, and the group taskings of the PGT and those sort of things. If there can be some added things that can be shown, that is the only one suggestion that can be added. Otherwise, it is
Sure,
very
sure.
nice.
Okay, so it was very nice interacting with you, Leroy, and I am also waiting for you to join the academy and want to see you as an officer very soon. So all the very best for your upcoming journey, and may you'll get to your success very soon. All the very
Thank you
best
so
again.
much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye bye. Have a very great day.
Bye, bye, ma'am. Good day, ma'am.